All right. So I don't know how long this discussion is going to take. It's late, but it's Friday, and I tend to stay up a little bit later on Friday, but I am sleepy, and I'm clearing off this bed. I thought I would burn some midnight oil tonight. And so I wanted to come and speak to you guys about social distancing and what that actually means. And a lot of people always discount people that are online, um, doing things like stalking you, doing things like catfishing you, um, you know, just random, strange, weird people that want to communicate with strangers online. And when you think about this is a problem. And there is a reason why Facebook will tell you to tighten up the security settings. You have choices as to whether or not anybody can contact you. You have choices as to whether or not anybody can just add you as a friend. And I believe there is a deeper reason for that, and I want to come and talk about it because I actually had to speak to like several clients about this. And um I think that if you are someone like myself that is considered to be an actual public figure, because I actually do spiritual work for people, and I take all kinds of spiritual cases. Uh, you know um I even take cases of people that are suffering from eviction, have legal problems. I do accept court cases and things of that nature. So, I don't turn my nose up at clients. You know what I'm saying? I don't just take clients that are, doing well in life. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just kind of one of those things as far as, what I do, especially when it comes to women. But the spirits that I want to, in particular, actually talk about are vagabond spirits, nomadic spirits, as well as spirits of poverty, spirits of sickness, which mainly is mental. Okay. And you have to be careful with who you just communicate with, because you just never know who it is behind an account. Okay. Most of you know exactly who I am. Some of y'all even know where I live. So, and I've actually showed my identification. So, you know my first and my last name. Okay. The spirits that I want to discuss mainly are vagabond spirits, and the Bible actually speaks about vagabond spirits. And if y'all don't know what a vagabond is, this is a person that lives a very unsettled and very unstable life. Those spirits prevent people from having a stable home, from, usually people that have vagabond spirits on them. It's definitely a curse, but it can also be a spirit attachment. And vagabond spirits and nomadic spirits are actually very close and similar. And I guess it would have to depend on what it is that you're doing in life. Many of you women, and please believe that there are a lot, and I think women need to listen to this discussion. There are a lot of people, in particular males that have these spirits attached to them, and they're looking for somewhere to dump those spirits. If you notice, even when you look at basic sexuality, okay, when you look at sex between a man and a woman, the woman has an innie, she receives, and the man has an outie. And he usually has things that is coming out of his body and going into the woman. So it's kind of automatically set up like that by design. And what I have noticed is a lot of you guys that just randomly speak to people and you don't really have protection on you, you can run into these types of spirits that can bring instability into your life. Now, here's how this happens. Any spirit can jump on you through the airwaves. For some reason, the etheric realm, I'm sorry, the interwebs is crawling with spirits. Even that video that I did on Gabby Petito, I went back and I listened to it, and something kept making this strange noise. That was not me moving my phone. My phone was sitting right in front of me, just like it's sitting right now, and I'm being still. But something just kept like rattling the phone. Like you can even hear it if you go back and listen. I don't know if y'all could hear that when y'all were listening live, but for some reason, spirits definitely do communicate and travel through the internet, which is why there's a lot of people that have decided to live off the grid, to the point where they limit their internet use. Okay, let alone having a Facebook account, let alone having a YouTube channel. They pretty much disconnect. Um, and so you have to be careful with who you communicate with. I don't like anybody that I notice that has really bad spirits on them that are trying to send these spirits to me. I have them blocked. They cannot communicate with me. People that have ill will for me cannot communicate with me at all. I don't want any communication with these people. They can't just pop up in my inbox and say hey to me. You know what I'm saying? And that is because those people have spirits on them. And, it could be a variety of spirits. In particular, as a woman, I can't be associating with just any and everybody. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that because um they do tend to jump around, and if you have a long enough conversation with a person, the next thing you know, those spirits start to entwine themselves with you. Now, if you guys notice, I Santa Martha, when because she's off doing some other stuff for me. She wanted me to work with Kali Ma because Kali Ma, she is powerful in a sense to where she removes it. Kali Ma will remove a demonic contract from you, which these contracts kind of pop up just by having a conversation with some people. Okay. And so, what tantric means is woven, intertwined. So, Kali Ma is pivotal for that. If you're trying to unbind people that are wanting to latch on to you for some reason, usually the reason why people want to latch on is because a lot of people are factually possessed. Okay, just like crazy people don't know they're crazy, possessed people don't know when they're possessed. And I'm very, very careful. I think people should stick with people that are sort of like minded, or they should have their guard up. I know that I keep my guard up. For example, I'm not going to mention any names, but there was this one person that, I allowed around me, even did a ritual with this person that was pretty much, this person was homeless. This person was basically living in her car. And as a woman with children to support, I can't have those kinds of spirits on me. And she didn't have any children. And it's not to say that, because I have a couple of clients that don't have stable housing. Okay. So it's not that I turn away people like that. It's just that you have to keep your guard up. And I let my guard completely down. Okay. And, and so you just have to be careful with stuff like that. Spirits are very, very real. And so a lot of people have communicated with just these strange people online, and specifically online. Online is actually worse than in person. Communicating with people online is worse because you can't necessarily see them. And then also it's electronic communication, which for some reason, the fact that it's electronic communication makes it a lot easier for these spirits to travel. There's this channel that I've been watching lately, and I think it's called Catfish something. And they're talking about people that have been catfished online. And for some reason, they, and I know a lot of y'all went to Google looking up vagabond and nomad, but there have been so many people who ended up talking to people, strange people online. Um, and yeah, and they will start to, give these people their life savings and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because it'll be like a romance scam. And, you would think, wow, this person should be smart enough to not do things like that. But, I think that there's different spirits for different things. So for me, I would identify that as a trickster spirit, maybe even a Jezebel spirit. Okay, depending on what it is. Okay, so you have to be careful talking to people online. It is very easy to become possessed by people's spirits, in particular online. A lot of people don't see that. A lot of people don't see that. And, most of us want stability in our lives. That's just like I've been living in my house for 3 years, which is pretty stable. I mean, I'm renting. Most people want stability in their lives, and people do have spirits on them. And if you sit and listen to these people, sometimes they will even be trying to send their spirits to you. It'll become obvious that people are trying to send these spirits to you to sort of upset the balance in your life, especially if you are settled. If you're settled where you're at, um, and I mean, it's a lot more that I could disclose, but I'm not, because I'm tired of people knowing my personal business. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss that. But you really, really, really have to be careful with people online, especially these weird, strange people that just send you friend requests. I have a tendency to sort of ignore friend requests from people that I don't know. No, I don't want to be your friend. I don't know you. Who are you? I'll allow my clients to be on my friends list. Otherwise, who are you? I don't know you. And I think people really just don't get that sometimes, you know? And I mean, I can be a little bit more lenient because, in the past several years, I've adapted to certain things, like especially with my anti-energy harvesting jar. It probably gets very frustrating to people that are trying to eat energy when they can't do that, but that's pretty much what I did to prevent this from happening at all costs. Keep your energy grounded in your body because it is a such thing as people that feed off of your energy. And before they usually start feeding, they have to possess you. Okay. So possession has a lot of different purposes. If somebody wants to connect with you with the intent to feed off of you energetically, or if they want to, find a dumping ground for their bad spirits, they have to possess you first. Then comes the feeding. So you have to make sure that you are not able to be possessed. And there is a way. You do have to be careful of possession. A lot of people are always talking about demons, demons, demons. Demons do not possess people like that unless they ask for possession. You're typically going to be dealing with spirits. Spirits can possess people. So it is extremely important, especially if you're in social media, you know. I mean, once they've got their claws in you, then you have to start doing the contract removals. Then you have to start working that person out of your spirit. Because next thing you know, uh, your things are happening. Whereas previously you were fine. If you go and Google it, there have been many, 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 many people who have had stable jobs, stable businesses. The moment these various spirits, whichever ones that they are, the moment that those spirits got on them, it all went downhill. Most people have no idea. Sometimes these spirits, sometimes people will be on a path and then these spirits will pop up and then all of a sudden they'll be on another path and it's just like, what's going on here? Why did you all of a sudden switch paths all of a sudden? And a lot of people will justify this possession by saying, well, I did this and it led me to something. This happened and it led me to something better. This happened and it led me something to something better. Well, 5 years ago, you could have said that one of them bad juju spirits got on you and then you lost your job, right? You lost your job and you thought, well, this is going to lead me to something better. But that ain't always the case. Okay. That is, and in fact, people will tell themselves that, but I think that when you continuously do that, when you continuously do that. Now, sometimes you can have people on the job, people on your job will put stuff on you because they want to take your position, or either they um they are one of those diabolical type of people that want to control and other people's narrative. Okay, but and you can't just always say, well, I went off that path and that led me to something else, because then what you got led to wasn't what you wanted. Like I said, maybe 5 years ago you could have said that, but then in 2023 or 2022, it got very hard for you to find another job to replace that job. So whether or not you need a cleansing, or uncrossing, um, whether or not you needed that, or if you just needed to carry a pentacle with you. You don't even have to wear it on your person, just carrying it in your pocket, okay, to make sure. Now, there's obviously a rumor, a false witch is going around. I'm just going to say this straight up and down, that a fake witch is going around saying that I got bad luck and bad juju on me. I light an uncrossing candle, purple. I light a red and black reversal candle and a white cleansing candle every new moon. Okay, so I make sure that I'm cleansed. If something ain't right, I clear myself. You know, and so what? So basically, they try to make it. I can't stand people that are fake like that. They try to make it look like something, and it's not what it looks like. It's just somebody that has really bad spirits that probably needs good spiritual counseling and help. But it's very hard to find that out here. It is, especially if you are into the craft. I don't know why um, witches are so horrible to one another. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But it, um, that's one of the reasons why many of us, though, um, we sort of didn't grow up. How many of you guys can say that you lived in your family home for at least 10 years? There is never going to be any, how people mark the age and the height of the kid, and and I understand that people upgrade homes. And so if you upgrade, that's cool. But, not too many people can, people just bouncing around, moving around, you know what I'm saying? And I think that nomadic spirits, as well as vagabond spirits, I think that males really love to put those spirits off on women. And you just have to be careful. Okay. Honestly, I don't want to talk to no male, especially that don't have no roof over his head that he paying for. Because guess why? Especially if he's in his late 30s and 40s. Nah, we can't talk. I don't want to talk to you. You know why? Because he probably has bad spirits on him. Okay. He has curses on him. That's why you have to avoid that at all costs. And because that instability that's in that person's life can be rubbed off on to you if you're not careful, and some of them will even be forcing it. Okay, so you have to be careful out here in social media. You can't just I personally am never ever flattered by men trying to talk to me. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm not flattered. I don't want to talk to you. I'm in social media for business only. So what am I talking to you about? I don't have anything to say to you. About what? Are you coming to buy a reading? Are you getting a consultation? But I'm different from a lot of people. You know why? I grew up an only child. I was an only child. And so I didn't, when you are raised an only child or when you are an only child, you don't necessarily require a bunch of interaction from people. So you kind of, you become adapted, to, when you don't have siblings. So it's different. So that's why I'm so different. Okay. Hold on. So, um, try to, and it's not that you have to be paranoid, but I think what's important is for you to make sure that your intuition is keen. Having your intuition to where your third eye is open and it's not blocked is very important. Why? Because you'll be able to sense that danger. You'll be able to sense it. And, I think probably my third eye really opened up in 2000 I'd say it began to really open. I was at about 70% in 2017. In 2018, I was about at 80%. In 2019, my third eye was open 90%. And now it's open 100%. And then, especially if you are an empath, okay? If you are an empath, it's really important. Empaths have an instinct to close it off because you don't want to feel what other people are feeling. But, empathism is not as bad as it seems. And if you are an empath, it's a wonderful support system for you guys over here. Because basically, that is a very good gift from God, being an empath. But you just have to learn to control it. A lot of people will say, well, I feel this and I feel that and I don't like it. And sometimes I get sick and it's overwhelming and I don't like it, Jamila. And you know what you do? You start to take control over that power because being an empath is actually a superpower. Okay. So you don't have to worry about it, but just be mindful of who you are communicating with. Some people have very depressing spirits that are connected to them. They're depressed, they're angry, it could be anything. And if you are going to be social, if you're not going to social distance online, then guess what you should do? Make sure that you are protected. Make sure you have some kind of protection. That way that stuff can't just jump on you. And the next thing you know, something bad is happening to you. Okay. All right, guys. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. Hit that thumbs up. And I actually teach a class for empaths. Okay. And I provide you guys with a lot of supplies and stuff from my suppliers. So if you guys need me, I'm always here. And I'm going to go because it's late. I just wanted to come and talk about that because I had to explain that to a couple of people um, in the past week. Okay. A couple of clients. All right, guys. I'll see y'all later. Blessings. Bye bye.